What about the importance of, we spoke a little bit about it, but the importance of children taking, because in schools they're robbing the schools basically of arts and crafts.
I think it's horrible.
Okay. Why do you believe it's so horrible?
Because I think kids need to express themselves. And as being a person who's not very good at expressing themselves through numbers, like 1 + 1 is about as far as I get, I need to express myself through doodling. I have a daughter who was the reason why I started this for the crafting world, because she's the child that crafts, and she expresses everything through crafting. She studies through crafting. You know, everything has to revolve around artwork. So I don't see how. It frustrates me that they take it out of the school systems. So as a result, I actually bring it into the school systems. We guinea pig at the schools. We take, before I even go into a hospital and I get a donation, I have to go into a school and say, can you create this so I know what ages this will best fit with? So crafting is so essential. I walk a fine line because it saddens me. So my kids' school art is really high because I go and I donate stuff.
Okay.
So
what would you say to a parent that, you know, they have their child on a strict regimen of mathematics, science, reading?
Let them color out of the lines.
Okay. Let them color between which lines?
Out.
Let them color out
of the lines.
Out of the lines.
There is no rules to crafting.
Okay.
Take everything you've learned and throw it out the door and just let them be kids. Because they don't get to be kids in school. School is now math, science, everything you have to be to think to succeed. But if you can't think to be creative, succeeding is equally as hard.
And also, with that in mind, what kind of tips can you give a parent that, you know, they consider themselves non-crafty, but they want to listen to your advice? What's the first couple steps they should do?
Be prepared to get your hands dirty. Pretend you were that age. If you're 2, do a 2-year-old craft. Sit on the floor, craft with your children. If you're afraid to touch glue, touch yogurt. Touch pudding. I started finger painting with my children with yogurt and pudding, because if they put it in their mouth, it's okay. Right? So really, you start with the basics and then you go forward. Everything can be edible. I believe in non-toxic, so if you're concerned, you can do environmentally friendly crafts. My kids recycle, we reduce, reuse all the time. In the hospitals, we reduce, reuse. I take everybody's unused craft items and I turn them into craft kits. Or, you know, think before you just say, here's the crayon. Great stuff. Halloween's coming, right? So take a piece of paper and color a pumpkin and cut it out and throw some glitter on it and it's perfect.
Okay.
Really. Or make your own costume. Go buy a mask from the dollar store. We're doing them here and you can do it.
So now with crafting for a cure, you're going into these hospitals and you're setting up these programs. What effects have you seen with the children once they start your program? Once they start creating, how does that help them? Because even like, for example, a child could be home and sick in bed. It's as simple as a regular common cold. Do you recommend crafting?
Yes.
Why?
It's therapeutic. We supply the #1 emergency room craft kits. All it is a very simple kit that we've put together, and then the kids then in turn put them together. It's basically a bookmark in a nutshell. The kids are creating. What we find is it keeps the kids off being sick. It's that 30 seconds where we can be calm, and the parents are a little more relaxed. Oh, my kid's crafting, so maybe they're not, you know, just because a child's sick doesn't mean they can't be happy. Not only that, you asked me about the impact that it's made on children in the hospitals. It's so positive. It doesn't only make an impact on the children in the hospital, it makes an impact on the nurses, it makes an impact on the parents, it makes an impact on the siblings. Everybody for that brief second is smiling. So if a child has a broken arm and they got only one arm to work with the crafting, it gets the mother and the child, or the the volunteer that's helping the child, or the sister or brother that's helping the other sibling that's injured help the child, especially if they've got an IV in their hand. Or if the kid is too sick to leave a room, you can bring something to them to do. Crafts are the easiest things. And crafts can be as simple as a crayon and a piece of paper.
One last question.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Go ahead. Try me.
One last question. What advice would you give for a child that is living with a disability? They're not in hospital, but it could be a physical or it could be a mental. They could have been labeled something through a special ed education system or whatever. What can you give them specifically? Advice. What can you say to them?
I can tell you that I have 2 children, my twins. Both have, I guess you would be deemed labeled in the academic school system. So they both have learning disabilities. And then my son has struggled with his own health issues on top of it. And all I tell them is don't give up. Follow your dreams. Reach for the stars, because I always know they'll go far. And I always tell every children that every child is special and everybody deserves a chance to smile. And that to me says it all. If you can smile and you're happy with yourself, just doing it, just go ahead.
Very good. Yes.
So was that okay?
That was excellent.
Very good.
I know, I gotta figure out. This is a bang. I got that one good.